You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible.
I'm going to need Miller to explain why in the hell Senate Republicans can't pass a simple damn bill to give $255 million to HBCUs and other institutions. Now, of course, it was passed by the Democratically controlled House. House presidents say the funding is vital to fuel the pipeline of minority graduates flowing into STEM professions. But days before the funding expired, Tennessee Senator Lamar Alexander, Republican, the chairman of the Senate Education Committee, he decided to block it. Education Department, they said the money for the current appropriation will carry over into the next year with the uncertainty surrounding it. How hard is this, Melick? I mean, it's not like Republicans in the Senate are doing a hell of a whole lot. They're not taking up any of the damn bills Democrats have passed. And so how hard is it to pass a damn bill to fund $255 million for HBCUs and other schools?
What I've been reading.
What the hell is your party doing?
What I've been reading about for the past several weeks since this story first broke is, from what I understand, is that the Republicans actually want to pass a permanent funding mechanism for HBCUs. What Democrats want to do, they want to pay, I think it's a stopgap measure or something, for a 2 years. So it's like a 2-year extension of, well, I can't think of what the act is now, but they want to pass. So we have Republicans want a permanent solution. Democrats want a 2-year extension from where we are now.
Actually, let me give you the facts here. The Democratic House has already passed the bill.
Right.
If the Republicans, yes.
Yes.
I'll say this is not hard. Republicans could actually approve the House bill and still introduce another bill to make it permanent. Well, you can do two things at one time.
Well, sure, but if we're going to be fully transparent and informative here, what we have to also acknowledge is that the Republicans actually said, well, hey, we want a permanent funding mechanism for HBCUs. What they've also said is that as part of that funding mechanism, it's tied to reforms in the Higher Education Act. What Democrats are concerned about, they're saying that, well, if we pass this now, if we go, because what the Republicans have, even what Senator Alexander introduced, he actually added to that program where he's talking about, the federal student aid, making the financial aid form more user-friendly, if you will. So they've talked about reforms as part of the Higher Education Act that are actually bipartisan issues. Republicans are saying, hey, we want a permanent funding mechanism for that. And as part of that funding mechanism, we want to add to that reforms in the Higher Education Act. They're not saying that they don't want any funding or anything like that. The Democrats are saying, well, no, we want a 2-year extension from where we are now, and let's come back and deal with those reforms in the Higher Education Act. But it's not as if Republicans are saying
Actually, Kelly, what's going on here is you have one bill that's been passed by Democrats. Republicans want to deal with several other issues. What Democrats are saying is this $255 million, which 85 million of that will go to HBCUs. Democrats are saying, yo, deal with that as a separate issue. That's what I just versus said. No. Follow me. Let me say it again. There's a difference between saying, let's do this huge comprehensive deal, which we know has many tentacles, has many different pieces to it. What I'm saying is, pass a simple, clean bill. That's all they got to do, Kelly. This ain't hard.
And to Malik's point about the comprehensive plan that the Republicans are trying to roll out, that's not necessarily a bad idea. But to your point of that plan, Roland, having multiple tentacles, who's to say that the House bill that just came through by the Democrats isn't one of those tentacles? So for the Republicans to deny on the Senate side this bill truly passing is pretty despicable. Why? Because $85 million, I think that's the number that you said, $85 million for 105 HBCUs is virtually nothing. Comparatively speaking, we talked about last week how Maryland is basically fighting over $500 million just for 4 schools, and you're talking about $85 million amongst 105 plus. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous, and it's petty of the Republican Party on the Senate side to hold up that little bit of money for an entity, an entity within higher education to use. It's just not fair.
Teresa, again, the Future Act is what it is called. And what you have here, this was a statement from Michael Lomax of the UNCF. He said that it is a no-brainer for lawmakers to immediately pass this bill. He said that I have spent over 50 years of my life in higher education, and I know the importance of the HEA. However, first things first, pass the Future Act, and that's my point. You can do both. It's not either or.
Yeah, you can absolutely do both. And it just seems like the Republicans are just kind of holding out for something more from the Democrats to get. It's one of those, it kind of just seems like another dangling fruit, right? Because it's something they can do. They know they can do it. And so waiting to put it in a whole comprehensive package plan, we might not see that plan for another 5 years or 10, who knows? But at this point, this is something they can do. This is something they won't do. I think it's probably because we're doing a lot, right? The Democrats are asking them to, do their jobs, essentially, and then work on part 2. So this shouldn't be hard. But I think, again, like everybody else has reiterated already, we got to put the pressure, and HBCUs really do need to step it up as it relates to advocacy on this issue.
All right, folks. Well, first of all, they've been very vocal on this, Congresswoman Alma Adams and others. But remember, House has already passed. Now the issue goes into the Senate. We'll see what they do.
All right, folks, back to that Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, as the marijuana momentum continues, our friends at marijuanastock.org have already reached more than half of their funding goal for the hemp CBD investment. That's right. If you want to take advantage of this great opportunity, you need to do it now because it won't last much longer. If you don't know, I'm talking about the hemp plant, the good cousin to marijuana with a much higher concentration of CBD. That means hemp gives you all the medical benefits of marijuana without getting you high. Now, if you don't know, hemp farming is now legal in the United States, creating one of the largest commodities worldwide. It is an investment opportunity, and that's where the folks at 420 Real Estate come in. Their business model is simple. They buy land that supports hemp CBD grow operations and lease it to licensed, high-paying tenants. That's right, they are hemp CBD landlords. You can get in on the action. As hemp continues to change the economic landscape, 420 Real Estate is allowing you to chase the American dream. The best part, you can invest in this crowdfunding campaign for as little as $200. That's right, $200 up to $10,000. Now, you must do it now before the fund is closed. To invest, go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org. Get in the game and get in the game now. Back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.